Hey guys, Adam Caesar here, back again with another video for another week. Usually I talk about a new release film or a new release reissue if I'm not doing a list or something special like that. But this week I didn't want to do a list, I didn't want to do another kind of clickbaity thing. Everything was everything I kind of started to watch this week and maybe finished, maybe didn't, either through rentals or through Netflix and stuff like that. It was so dismal that I kind of wanted to check out something that I've had on my pile, have been told is good, and have wanted to check out for a little while. So today's movie is The Mutilator. Came out a couple months ago, I guess like end of February, from Arrow Video. They do these beautiful reissues, like kind of almost Criterion level edition versions of movies that the Criterion Collection probably wouldn't touch. I've done a video review of Arrow's American Horror Project, which was 3 different videos. That was early on. I had longer hair, and I had worse lighting. So if you want to go check that out, I'll put a link in the description. But if you're an Arrow fan or unfamiliar, we're going to talk about The Mutilator today, and we're going to talk about slasher films. All right, so The Mutilator, 1984, a little bit later maybe in the slasher boom than a lot of the classics. So Buddy Cooper, a North Carolina man, made this movie. Only made this and nothing else. Only made one movie. He's a lawyer that self-financed a feature film, and it's not a kind of terrible vanity project like a lot of those things are, and maybe a lot of those things still are today when we see movies like that. The Mutilator is, I think it's fair to say, a hidden gem, a slasher classic that needs to be rediscovered. I hadn't seen it. I hadn't really heard much about it. I didn't know about it. The main guy, in a little pre-credits sequence, he accidentally shoots his mother when he's cleaning his father's gun. Father comes back, almost kills the kid, doesn't kill the kid, props dead mom up, gives her a shot of whiskey. It's this weird opening, and we're kind of caught off guard, especially if we're in that slasher state of mind, thinking, okay, maybe the kid's gonna grow up to be the killer, maybe the dad's gonna be the killer, maybe we're gonna play this as a mystery the whole time. But the Mutilator, otherwise known as Fall Break, does not play it as a mystery at all. That's the one way it's kind of not your typical slasher, because the killer does not wear a mask, and the killer is not a mystery. There's no whodunit element to the Mutilator Fall Break. But what everything else that it has is what I would think is the platonic ideal of a slasher. And when I say that, I don't mean it in a bad way. I don't mean it in the kind of Scream, deconstruction, like Cabin in the Woods, like let's look at these things and make fun of the archetypes and tear them apart. But because the archetypes are archetypes for a reason, even I as a slasher fan have a hard time arguing why these things work, why these different elements that are so clearly set and clearly kind of form almost to the level of American kabuki, like why these things have to happen, why the final girl is virginal, which she is in this, to the point of there's like 3 extraneous scenes where she's talking about her virginity. All this different stuff. But what I love about a slasher, I guess, isn't the form. It isn't the that we have to check all these boxes. It's the weird mix of comfort food up front, because you get all these kids hanging out, and the kids in The Mutilator are all likable, all fun. Half of them have southern accents because this was filmed in North Carolina. And then you have that back half of kind of tragedy. And while the kills in The Mutilator are gory and crazy, and we do get a lot of different implements of death, and there's one on the cover here, and the first half of the movie we're going through this house and seeing all these different things that will be used to kill these teenagers later. They don't feel overly forced. They don't feel overly contrived. The ways in which the main guy's father starts wiping these kids out. So I probably should talk about the plot even a little bit coherently, because I just rambled a whole lot. Ed, main guy, his name is Ed. His girlfriend is Pam. They haven't consummated their relationship, Ed's the guy I told you before, killed his mother. He gets a call from his dad. His dad wants him to kind of like look after the family condo down by the beach. And he says, oh, well, this will be a great chance to have a fall break with my friends. And he gets his friends together. There are 6 of them. They go down there. Ed's dad has been shacking up kind of, he's like this weird, angry, silent drunk, and he's been kind of sleeping off a bender in the tool shed, wakes up, finds all these kids there, and just starts knocking them off one by one. A lot of great set pieces, photography and this is a credit to Arrow's job in refurbishing this film and making it look really good. The cinematography looks great. It does not look like your kind of local production outside of Hollywood, cheap quickie. It is a nice looking movie, well edited, well put together. The acting in every one of these kinds of films, the actors are either inexperienced or mostly non-actors. Here, everyone does uniformly pretty good job by these standards of a slasher movie in 1984 filmed in North Carolina. I loved it. I was kind of blown away. Something that was a little bit of a blind buy just because I like Arrow and I like the stuff they choose to put out. I like the fact that there's a feature-length documentary on here if you ever wanted to learn about all the different things that went into making Fall Break. And I've kind of switched off calling it Fall Break or The Mutilator. One of the best things about the whole movie, and I'm sure if you're a Mystery Science Theater 3000 kind of person, you like to laugh at movies. I'm not the same way, but you will get a kick out of the kind of Caddyshack, Kenny Loggins-esque theme song to the movie, which totally goes out the window once you rename it The Mutilator and you put the Mutilator title card in front of it, because you don't realize that that the movie's originally called Fall Break and the song's called Fall Break. It's fun, it's happy, it adds to that feeling of, okay, this is a fun kind of hangout movie for that first half, and that half kind of stretches pretty far because we get kills before the kids even realize that they're in trouble. So it's just got a good vibe. It's got that nice 80s feel to it that everyone's trying to replicate, whether it's Stranger Things or any number of VOD horror movies you can rent now. They all have like these kind of synthy scores and they try to feel 80s. Some of them set themselves in the 80s. But there really is no replicating that texture exactly, because our minds are always going to kind of know. It's that uncanny valley kind of thing. Our minds are always going to kind of know when they're trying to be tricked. And there is no trickery involved in The Mutilator, and I'm sure 99% of you watching this video haven't seen it. It is well worth picking up, well worth checking out. Just an enjoyable time. If you like slashers. If you don't like slashers, if you're not going to roll with those archetypes, if you're not going to engage it on its own terms, you're probably not going to have fun. And I'm probably not going to invite you to any parties. But if you like slasher, if you like that kind of weirdly formal art form, The Mutilator is a great example of mid-80s slasher. I feel like this is a little discovery for myself. I was like, oh, what am I going to film today? What am I going to make? I'm like 2 days late. I got to make a video. Throw this in. Perfect. Yes, let's film that. Not these 3 movies I rented since last week and they all sucked. So, yeah, The Mutilator, Buddy Cooper. My hat's off to you, Sarah. You only made one film, but you made a good one. All right, so the book recommendation this week. It's a little bit of a problem because I didn't want to talk about authors I've already talked about on here, because I just want to let's churn through some people. Let's talk about some more work that I like. But I also want to pair something slashery with The Mutilator, and slashers are not wholly well represented in horror fiction in any meaningful kind of traditional slasher way, outside of maybe Stephen Graham Jones, who knows a lot about slashers and writes about slashers often in his book, like The Last Final Girl, or my friend Matt Serafini, who a couple of videos ago I recommended his book, Under the Blade. But there's one that I really like, and it's called it's a mouthful. The Summer Is Ended and We Are Not Yet Saved, by Joey Camo. It is not a 100% traditional slasher, but it's kind of told parallel style between a young boy. His mother takes a job as a makeup artist on a horror film, so he has to go to camp for the summer. She sends him to this religious camp, and then she starts sending him letters about how things are going, kind of as she's making movies. But at this camp, there is a summer camp slasher. One of the priests, I think, yeah, the priest who like runs the camp is like a summer camp slasher. And he's lost his mind and he's killing all these kids. So it sounds like it's gonna be like a fun kind of throwback vibe from that description, but it's really not. It's actually quite serious and quite sad. It's kind of what happens if you take a traditional slasher, like a real slasher, and add this this layer of horror fiction emotional depth to it. Great book. Can't recommend it enough. I think it's out through Cheezine. Check it out. The Summer Is Ended and We Are Not Yet Saved by Joey Camo. But and that's if you like slashers. If you don't like slashers, if you do like slashers, check out The Mutilator, Buddy Cooper film released by Arrow Video on Blu-ray and DVD combo. They give you both. I don't know why. All right. So that was my ramble, my slasher ramble for this week. Come back next week. I always have a book recommendation and a movie recommendation for you. Check out my other videos. Hit like on this video if you like my particular brand of rambling. Subscribe if you want more rambling in your face. Comment down below. Tell me your favorite slasher movies. Tell me slasher movies I might have missed, because I missed The Mutilator. I missed some other ones that are your favorites. I want to know about them, and I want to know what you like about the slashers. I want to know why I feel the way I do about slashers, because I think you can tell I love them, but I can't even articulate it. I can't articulate why. It's like a weird comfort food Greek tragedy thing going on, and I love it. All right. Have a nice day, guys.